And welcome to the YouTube channel T-Zanism, where we occasionally talk about hockey. I'm your host, Tim Zanner, alongside my friend David Simoes, founder and developer of DS3 Hockey Development. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tim. I'm really looking forward to this. I love the new setup. This is awesome.
Yeah, you're kind
of
my
really good
guinea pig with how this is all going to work out and everything, but we will definitely find out how it all works out.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
So thanks for joining us. I really wanted to get the word out about your hockey program that you have in town here that you've been, started here, maybe 2 years ago? Probably?
Yeah. So it's I'll be going on my third summer actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Good
so
for you.
it's 2 years into it. This will be my third year going into the summer here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's gone by quickly.
So you got to tell me, where are you originally from?
Yeah, so originally from Vanderhoof, British Columbia.
Okay.
So that's a very remote town in northern British Columbia. So if you know where Vancouver is,
Okay.
Vancouver, we're about 10 hours north of Vancouver.
Oh, just a small drive.
Yeah, just a small drive. So it's like right in the middle of British Columbia. So British Columbia, like, it's massive.
Sure. Yes.
I don't know how many North Dakotas would fit inside British Columbia, but it would be a good number of them.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I grew up in a Vanderhoof small town. Had two amazing parents. Well, I still have two amazing parents.
Sure.
And grew up in a family with 5 boys. So I'm number 2.
Wow, 5 boys.
5 boys, yeah.
Do they all play hockey?
Yeah, so there was one time when my oldest brother was still in high school, and then my youngest brother was probably starting out. We all played youth hockey. So my parents, we would get sent with families, and a couple of us would go with different families, and my mom would go one way, my dad would go the other way.
Sure.
So it's like you look back at that, and I'm like, wow, like that's incredible.
That is, to be able to utilize that hockey family, that tribe that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
So give us a little glimpse of your hockey journey.
Yeah. So I loved hockey ever since I can remember.
Okay.
Growing up, we lived in town at first, and then ended up moving out into the country when I was about 11. But my dad had a backyard rink for us when I was younger, and I can remember being out on the backyard rink. Everyone kind of talks about that. Me and my older brother.
Okay.
And I just loved hockey. Like, some of my first memories of hockey was in '93 when the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup. I was 8 years old at that time.
Sure.
And I can remember being so happy. My dad, he's an immigrant from Portugal.
Okay.
And moved over to Canada when he was 13. And in Canada at that time, there were so many immigrants coming in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an immigrant, you kind of just cheered for the Montreal Canadiens because they were French speaking.
Sure.
So my dad was a big Montreal Canadiens fan. So all of us boys, well, not all of us boys. The fourth guy, he's my fourth brother. He's an Edmonton Oilers fan. So, but
the black sheep of the family.
yeah, I think maybe he did that on purpose. But that's kind of where my roots began. I had a really awesome bantam coach. His name was Doug Rogers.
Okay.
And he was a big guy. Well, he is a big guy. I think he was 6'7".
Oh my.
And he just pushed me, and he was just such a good coach for me at that time.
Sure.
Then I was able to go play junior B for a year. When I was 16 years old, I left home. And then I played 4 years of junior A after that.
Okay.
My last year in juniors in the BCHL, we were able to win a Royal Bank Cup.
Nice.
Which was really, really cool. So that's the national championship in Canada. That doesn't exist anymore. Junior hockey's changed so much.
So were you the last ones to win that cup then?
No, it was still going, a number of years after us.
Sure.
But it's changed so much, the junior hockey landscape. But we played our league playoffs. That was 4 best of 7s.
Okay.
And then we won the BCHL, and then we had to go play the Alberta champion for the Doyle Cup.
Okay.
So the Doyle Cup, we went to Fort McMurray, Alberta, and that's like way up there. And that was when I was playing in Burnaby, so Vancouver.
Okay.
So we go far north, Alberta. We play a 4-game series against them. We beat them in 6.
Nice.
And then we went to the Royal Bank Championship, and that was in Toronto, just outside of Toronto in Ontario. And we had a good tournament, good round robin, and then we're in the semifinals against Fort Williams, an Ontario junior team, and we were down 2-0 with a minute 30 left, and we scored, and then I forget when we scored again to tie it, and then we won in overtime. But that was an incredible moment. And then in the finals, I think we beat the Yorkton team. I think we beat them like 8-0. And at that time, we had a 16-year-old on the team, and his name was Kyle Turris. So Kyle went on to play over 700 games in the NHL.
Oh, wow.
So he was pretty incredible.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So would that be one of your memorable moments, or is there another memorable moment that you'd like to share?
Yeah, that semifinal game was a memorable moment for sure in my hockey career.
They always say the 2-goal lead is the worst goal the league to have in hockey, right?
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun, and just other memorable moments. And I guess I didn't say I did go on to play 6 years professionally after my junior career.
Okay.
But I took. Well, it's kind of an interesting story. So I won the RBC, and I'm like, I'm on top of the world. I'm a junior hockey player. I just won the national championship, and I got an ECHL contract signed with Utah Grizzlies. And I'm like, well, I can just kind of do the training just like I always did.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much. I could kind of get by natural abilities playing junior hockey, and then you go and you try out for one of these professional teams, and it's completely different. So I got down to Utah. I was completely out of my league, and then got, I was like, I have a contract, but the minor league contracts aren't really solidified. You have a contract, but it's not really. You can get cut pretty much any time or waived.
Yeah.
So I got waived right away, and then I was like, I just need to go home, and I ended up going home and working. I didn't know if I was going to play hockey again. Then I played in the Alberta College League for a semester, and then the following year I was like, yeah, I got to get back down and playing professionally. So I went to the Central Hockey League for 6 years after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you made stops and I know there was various towns, but the ones that really stick out to me are the Youngstown Steelheads, Mississippi River Kings, and the Rapid City Rush, and then finishing your career at Missouri Mavericks.
That's right. Yeah. There's a couple others in there as well, but yeah. I started in New Mexico for the Scorpions.
That's right. I did see that.
Yeah, and then Allen, Texas. Yeah, I played in Allen for a little bit.
Out of all of these places, which was your favorite place to play?
When I finished, it was Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah. The people in Mississippi, I had a coach that I really looked up to. His name was Kevin Killer Kaminsky. I had him in Youngstown, and then our team folded in Youngstown that year, so we went to he got the job in Mississippi, so I followed him to Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I played 2 years in Mississippi, and we had a really good team our first year. And looking back, we should have won the league that year, but it's one of those things you just get beat. And
sure.
What can you do? So, Killer he's very influential in my life for sure.
Out of all the places that you played, and now I'm going to compare this to Bobcat hockey a little bit, but they always say the VFW Sports Center is just loud.
Yeah.
Did you have a arena like that you played in that was where the fans were really behind the team?
Yeah, that was Missouri.
Okay.
Hands down. So that rink was brand new rink.
Oh, nice.
Within 5 years.
Sure.
And 5,800 people, and they would sell it out every game. And
That's cool.
And in Missouri, so it's in Kansas City, the team, and now they're called the Kansas City Mavericks.
Okay.
And they thought that we were on par with the Royals and the Chiefs.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, so people thought that was the place that I really kind of struck me. The other places we weren't really known, but there were times I'd walk into the grocery store and they'd be like, "Hey, you're Dave Simoes," and I'm like, "Holy smokes, you know that?" so the fans were really behind us.
Sure.
Yeah, in Missouri. In Missouri, it was our favorite place to play. The organization treated us so good. We had 2 kids at the time.
Okay.
They rented us a house, which normally you'd get an apartment. Mm-hmm. And we lived there in the summer. 2 summers we stayed there. Oh, really loved it. I'd work out in the summers there, had a job there. So that I was going to stay there, but, had a different calling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, one last quick question about where you played, but
Yeah.
New Mexico, I find that hard that they have ice in New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible. So the Central Hockey League, when I first started, it was pretty big. There was a league before Central. It's called the Western Professional Hockey League.
Okay.
So there was a bunch of minor league teams and leagues kind of all over the United States at the time. But I forget how many teams there was in Texas, El Paso, Austin, Laredo, Rio Grande Valley.
Okay.
So Odessa, Corpus Christi.
Sure.
So there was like Corpus Christi is a very neat town.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Laredo, it's different. You can see the Mexican border right on the other side from our hotel. The Mexican border's right there.
Okay.
So and you see like, yeah, you have hockey here. It's
Sure.
it's interesting. But New Mexico was an interesting place because we were based in Albuquerque, but they wanted to develop a subdivision of Albuquerque called Rio Rancho.
Mm-hmm.
And you would drive probably 10, 15 minutes, just desert, and then you'd get to like the city hall, and they have the arena out there. But this coming season, they're getting an ECHL team in Rio Rancho in that same arena.
Sure.
So I'd be very curious to go out there today to see if it's all developed like they were kind of planning.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting to see.
Sure. That's really awesome to be a part of that and see all that different areas and stuff, and how hockey is loved in one area and not so much the other.
Yeah.
The following that has.
Yeah.
So to get on with talking about DS3 hockey development, when you and I were talking about it in probably the infancy stage of it all, and this is when you probably first moved down into the area, while we're waiting for our boys to get off the ice, whether it was for practice or camps, we had talked about your vision.
Yeah.
And it was really cool for me to see how it went from a vision to a plan to action.
Yeah.
And, you talked about your passion, and you talked about the things that you saw in the community that, like, man, if we just had this, our teams would be so much better. Give us a little bit about that when you moved here and you're like, these kids are struggling. And I might step on somebody's toes when I say this, but, we're probably 5 to 6 years behind some other organizations just because of our development and stuff.
Yeah. I came down here, and I started coaching up, so I moved back to my hometown in Vanderhoof for 7 years, and that's when my son started to play hockey. And, skating was what held me back. Okay. So every time, like, I got to try out into the AHL for Lake Erie, and they just said, your skating's just not good enough. And I heard that throughout my whole career. Okay. And skating is, so I said, like, I don't want kids or players to struggle with that. So I really want to be a good skater or teach skating. And so when I started coaching, YouTube was there. So YouTube was my learning tool. And there was a guy, his name's Max Ivanov, and he's now the Florida Panthers skills and skating coach. Okay. And I think maybe at the time he was Pittsburgh's, but he was Pittsburgh's for a while as well. Sure. But I go and he has like videos, like, there's like 30-minute videos of him teaching power skating. So, if you ever get a chance to watch David skate, you would never guess that throughout his CHL career that skating was his downfall. If you see him now and what he has the kids doing on the ice, it's pretty amazing with what he does. So take the opportunity, if you can, to watch some of his videos and his, or get a camp going out in your area, because it would be worth your time and your money to have that come to your community. Yeah. As you went on, I know that you had limited ice time, but you set it up. You went with what you could get, and I think you were pleasantly surprised with the turnout and the reception that you got from the community. Yeah, very. I mean, I'm so grateful there's so many families that have supported me, going into my third year here. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful for that. And just the community of Bismarck. There's such a good hockey community here. And, I'm kind of oblivious to everything that's, built up in Bismarck and the state. Mm-hmm. But I think, like, I look at our organization, our youth organization, and I came from a youth organization that had 98 kids from, it would be termites to high school. So that's 98 kids. Like in Bismarck, I think last year, just with BHB, we had around 800 kids. That's a lot of kids. It's a lot. And then we have our high schools. Yes. So it's like there's, probably close to 1,000 kids playing hockey in Bismarck right now. That's good to see, I think. It's amazing. We need that, with the lower population that we have on the western side of the state compared to what's out east. The east is always dominant. Yeah. In hockey, and we're always kind of trying to catch up to them. And I think, in the last 10 years, the opportunities that the kids have to play and get trained up has increased immensely with that. So it's really been cool to
watch that. I've been coaching for my son for 6 years now, and for kids to go, oh, we have to do skating
Yeah.
before practice. I know how to do all this stuff, and then you come along, and then you have them do some stuff, and they're humbled very quickly.
Yeah, and that's fun, and it's fun to challenge, and going kind of back to your question, it's like when I first started this skating stuff myself, I played 6 years professionally, but I can remember going out and watching this Max Ivanov guy. I'm like, oh, I got to try some of this stuff. And it's like going out and doing a mohawk. I'm like, holy smokes, I can't even really do a mohawk. And now it's like, you do a C-step turn, you do a 3-turn, and you see these young kids that are doing it. And that's the exciting part. It's you can, and that's my whole philosophy with the skating. It's if you can teach that foundation at an early age, I think you just can be much more of an efficient skater when you get older.
So I've noticed now, with the exposure that you had, you've become the power skater for a couple teams in town, one being Bismarck High School and just recently with the Bismarck Bobcats.
Right.
What kind of an opportunity is that for you? Because these kids are, juniors, and what kind of, I should ask, what kind of reception did you get from them, seeing them think, with their skating ability to when they first started to where they were at when they were done with you?
Yeah, the opportunities are incredible. So I was able to work with the Century girls the previous year, so that was, great opportunity for myself. And then this year with the BHS boys and the Bobcats. But going out and seeing with the Bobcats, like it's as much as, and same with BHS and same with everyone. It's as much of a learning experience for myself and for me to grow as a coach as it is for them.
Sure.
You work with those higher level players and you can kind of see like, okay, like these kids, like you teach them something and you see them struggle, but what I really found is that they learn it much quicker. So you as the coach, as the director on the ice, you got to be much more efficient in delivering the messages quicker and shorter, and then moving on to the next progression of whatever drill that we're going to be doing.
So you mentioned in the earlier years of learning skating and stuff, you followed YouTube. But what kind of programs have you really delved into? I know you went out to TCS in Minneapolis, and you learned from probably some NHL coaches, some college coaches. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, so TCS, that's the coaches site, for those that don't know. And I've been a member of the coaches site for, I want to say, the past 6 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yep.
I was like an early subscriber to it. And I can remember like buying that subscription. And it's like, I think it's $150 a year. And it's like, oh man, like that's a lot of money. And it is.
It's wealth of knowledge on
Yeah.
it.
And it's like you go on there and you're like, this is worth every single penny.
Yes.
Like what I've learned and what I bring to my sessions, on a weekly basis, majority of that comes from the coaches site and the people that I'm listening to on there and that I'm watching on there. Not just like skating techniques, but there's a couple courses on there from some skating coaches that you can buy, and I bought courses, and then you can take those courses and you go through them, and they're probably 2-3 hours each long, and you learn so much from that. And it's just like a different. And there's skating coaches, and DB Hockey's one that I really like. He's a Swedish guy.
Okay.
And he's all about posture and proper technique. And then there's another guy, Victor Kratz, and he used to be an Olympic figure skater.
Okay.
So he's all about edges.
Sure.
So it's and you can kind of blend those two, and you can kind of make it into your own.
Sure.
So these guys, like, the wealth of knowledge that they have, and as I continue to learn and continue to grow as a coach, I feel that these guys are kind of like, everyone's kind of doing that, pulling from each other, and that's the great thing about the hockey community. People want you to do that.
Sure.
People want you to learn from one another, like, and I love it when I hear people saying like, "Oh, I saw you doing this drill, and I'm going to implement it in my practice plan," and it's like, that's great.
Yeah.
And you kind of make it into your own.
Right.
And and the one thing that that I have evolved from just recently as a coach, it's that skating, it lives inside every drill or every skill, sorry. And it's, picking pucks up off the wall, the skating technique in that. separating your upper and lower body and how you can do that quick cut back.
Sure.
So it's like that's something that I've kind of like, I haven't learned on my own. Like you hear different coaches talking, but it's just starting to click in my mind, and how you can like set up skating and then you move on to that next drill and then that next progression. So that's exciting for me.
So with that, could you take a guy like me who's in beer league, an old dog, and teach me new tricks?
I think so. Yeah.
Hear that, C-leaguers?
Yeah.
Right there. We can be better.
Yeah. No, and it's all about willing to, you're going to fall.
Oh, definitely.
So like that's
I do that a lot anyway.
It's all about what you're willing to do and what you're willing to put into it. If you truly love it, and it's the same thing with the kids, if you truly love it, then you're going to get better.
Right.
So
what kind of things does DS3 have to offer?
Well, we, primarily, like I've been known for our skating stuff, and that's definitely my passion. But kind of like I just explained, blending that skating into, puck protection. Skating, like it's, they're skating up here, and then underneath their skating, there's edge work. When I first started DS3, I would say like, okay, we're doing edge work, we're doing edge work, we're doing edge work. And I don't know how accurate that is, because skating's the skill, and then underneath skating would be edge work. There'd be posture. There'd be deception.
Yep.
So there's different things that you can do within that skating skill, and then there's drills underneath that you're going to focus on. So today we're going to work on deception. So that's moving our eyes.
Yes.
That's moving our hands. So it's there's a bunch of different things that you can do with that. And in saying that, it's what does DS3 offer? Like I would offer like it's an on ice full package development that we try to do. Last year I brought in a guy named Tyler Dittmer from Manitoba, and he came in and did a shooting clinic, and I learned so much from him. And yeah.
And it, with that, when you talk about skating and the deception, that was one thing that I noticed last year in games, just by how you say, just like moving your head a little bit or shifting your shoulders and having your hands out will totally get a team to shift one way, and it buys you that extra time on the ice.
Yeah.
It gives you that extra space that you need there. And to be able to coach that is, I think, going to be beneficial to the youth nowadays, because I can see the game way better than I can play it.
Right.
But for me to explain it in a way that is understandable for a young player, that's where like the TCS would come in and be able to be like, all right, this is how you can do it and break it down for them and stuff.
Right.
And so that's really cool. I mean, you offer the individual skills. He has edge work, puck handling, hockey IQ. I think that's huge. A lot of kids can tell you, or people will tell you that, oh yeah, I've seen hockey and all that stuff. But until you actually get on the ice and you're put into those situations, like there are many times as a coach, I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't they see that? But then the kid comes off the ice and be like, what did you see there? And they totally saw something else.
Right.
And so then their perception versus your perception on the ice, it's, okay, now you talk to them and say, what did you see? And then hopefully they're there going, what should I have done differently, or what could I have done differently, that they absorb all that information, and next shift they go out there and they do it.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I noticed about our girls team this year. We had a phenomenal head coach, and he was able to draw something up, and the girls just absorbed it. When we would have a timeout or something, he'd be like, you're going to go here, here, here. And they would go out there and they would execute it. And we'd both look at each other just like, we just wrote it up on the board. We just drew it up. And so that's
interesting. Yeah.
For them to have that IQ and absorb that was
right.
That's really, really awesome.
That's great. So
do you have any upcoming camps or anything that you want to share with people that maybe they're looking for something this summer that that they could go to? I mean, maybe throw out your website, and we'll make sure that we link that down below in the video. Social media that you have?
Yeah. So you can find us on social media. I guess we do have YouTube. We have.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I haven't done much with YouTube, but Instagram, Facebook.
Okay.
I've been trying to be more active on them. I'm not the best at it, but I'm trying to be more active on social media. DS3 Hockey Development. We have a website. It's www.ds3hockeydevelopment.com.
Is that how people can get a hold of you better? Is through through that?
Through the contact.
Okay.
Yeah, you can contact me, and it goes right to my email.
Okay.
I guess I'm kind of a dinosaur. I live in my email.
Not into texting.
Sometimes people will message me on the Instagram or Facebook, and
sure.
I'm like, it's like a week or two later. I'm like, holy smokes, I gotta.
That's kind of the way I am too.
Yeah.
My son's like, didn't you see the message I sent you? I'm like, when did you do that? Oh, like 2 months ago. No, I didn't.
So I'm getting better at that. But but with the camps, on Monday we'll be starting up our skating.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing a high school group. Talking about total development. We're partnering with Sanford to do off ice. So I'm super excited about that.
Okay, and that'd be June 1st, right? Or 2nd?
Yep, June 1st. And then we have Mite, Squirt, Pee Wee, and Bantam.
Okay.
I think there's still room in the mites and the high school, but other than that, I think the other ones are pretty full. Maybe the Bantam, there's some room as well. And then middle of June, we have the Britta Curl camp. We did a camp last year with Britta, and that was a huge success. So she's coming back, and we started off with a 3-day camp, and then I'm not kidding you. I think within 48 hours that was sold out.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then so we talked, and I was like, "Can we do another 2 days?" So we did another 2 days. So we have like kind of 2 camps in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
There's still room in that the Thursday Friday camp if people wanted to join that.
That leads me into my next point, was that you've had the opportunity to coach.
Yeah,
Britta Curl-Salemme.
Yeah.
She's PWHL Minnesota Frost forward, gold medalist. Working with her, how did that all come about?
I don't know. I know Britta's dad, Bill. If anyone needs their skate sharpened, go to Bill. I love getting my skates done at Bill's, and he does profiling as well.
I've heard he's the skate sharpening guru of the community.
I think so. Yeah. So that's another thing about skates and learning more as a coach. Like, I didn't do any of that as a player.
Sure.
I think I'd get half-inch hollow on my skates and just kind of forget it. I can even remember at one point, like, give me 3/8 because it's sharper. And it's like I think about that now, and I'm like, oh, man, no wonder I couldn't skate good.
Right. And even for me, I didn't really know the difference between the hollows, and I went from a half-inch to 5/8, and I was like, wow, this seems a little bit eeasier. Doesn't seem like it's much of a challenge for Mr. Beer Leaguer here.
Yeah. But Bill, so I got my skates profiled with Bill. I think I get a tri profile, and then I skate at 7/8 hollow, and I'm like, wow, like that made a huge difference. So if anyone's watching and wondering what to get your skates, that is one thing I really do recommend.
It's the profiling?
Profiling, and then I really recommend the hollow.
Okay.
Yeah, like a shallow hollow.
Okay.
Like that, I can't, because another thing, we talk about the sub skills of skating,
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to slide on those edges.
Sure.
And that we'd call that controlled skating. So if you're just going around like at crossing over your feet, 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you're just going to miss so many plays, and then you don't have timing. And hockey, a lot of it is about timing.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're coming down into a play and you can slide on those edges and you're not stopping, and then you can get going again quickly to time your play.
Sure.
That's one aspect of having a shallow hollow.
Okay.
But going back to your original question about Britta. So that's kind of how I knew Bill, and Bill must have, said, hey, Britta, and it was her Britta and Brenna, Britta's sister, Brenna. She plays at the University of Maine, and she's actually just got named captain.
Wow.
So Brenna's going to be going there, and she's going into
her second year?
She just finished her second year, so she'll be going into her junior year as captain. So she'll be
a junior already.
Yeah. So it's it's pretty incredible how not to get too off topic, but I was talking with Bill about it, and he's like, yeah, you think about, Alec Rollheiser, the assistant coach for the Bobcats, he was captain.
Mm-hmm.
Kiri Irie.
Yep.
For Bemidji.
Yep.
Kirkland. He was captain this year at Bemidji. The Vig boys, Max and Charlie, they were captains on the USHL teams. Britta was captain at Wisconsin for, I think, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a handful. Jared Spooner, he played at Mankato, another Bismarck kid.
Yeah.
He was he was an assistant captain at Mankato. So there's all these kids from Bismarck that have played at high level NCAA Division One
Yep.
that turned out to be captains. So it kind of like, to me, like that just shows what a good community and what a good hockey community Bismarck is.
And the work ethic that those athletes have.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't just get to be a Catholic or a captain because you're on the team.
Right.
You have to get the respect of your teammates, your coaches, but you also have to put in the effort on, but mostly off the ice.
That's right. Yeah. And but being able to skate with Britta, it was a really big privilege for sure. And she's people have asked me like, what's it like skating with Britta? And it's like, she's not that good by accident. Like she's putting in, at least 2 workouts a day.
Yeah.
In the off season. I would say like right now, parents, they want to, after the season, get their kids on the ice right away. Like I would say right now, I know like Britta, she finished in May, probably.
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to say for sure, but she's probably going to take 4 to 6 weeks off the ice. Doesn't mean that she's going to be sitting on the couch.
Right.
But she's going to be working out and whatnot. But, to get that reset. Right. And all these high-level players, like, they're going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks off depending on their schedule.
I think you almost have to with the demand of the sport.
Yeah.
And they don't get very much recovery time. And I think you have to have that reset mentally and physically.
Yeah, it's big.
And then I was talking when you were coaching Britta that just the effort that she puts in at practice, 110% all the time. It's go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see that how that translates and transfers to the ice.
Yeah.
And, how does that, I mean, that's got to be a really good feeling knowing that, hey, I'm helping her get to that next level. I mean, she's achieved just about any award that you could get, right?
Yeah.
From all of that. And I was going to go somewhere with that with Britta, that you don't find too many athletes that are all in.
Yeah, and you don't. And, looking back to when we were skating together a couple summers ago, it's like I was there providing ice time, but she was the one that was putting all the work in. It's like that's like to say that I had a part in her success. It's probably not too accurate. It's really not. and it's I know like I think about people like Tim Meyer, coached her in high school.
Yeah.
Like Tim had her for years, and I know that there's other coaches in Bismarck that I don't know that had an influence on her.
And I've coached with him a couple times at different occasions, and he's got a good mind there too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done really well with the girls and stuff.
Yeah.
And when you coach like with Britta, I mean, obviously everybody says you got to work on your weaknesses and stuff, but was there more working on the weaknesses, or was there more building your strength?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good point. And I think it was like it's more building your strengths, and then it's also training, like what I find with my training and how I've evolved as a coach. It's training the high frequency events during a hockey game. So what are the high frequency events? The puck is on the wall, from the dot to the wall 80% of the game. Like if you go watch the NHL game tonight, Montreal, Carolina, if you go watch that game, like watch the amount of times the puck is along the wall.
Yeah.
So it's like if the puck is along the wall 80% of the game, you got to be really good at the wall. And you got to be really good, like, and how many skills, like picking the puck up off the wall, all the rims, puck protection, and then defending. You want to keep them on the wall. You want to own the middle of the ice, both offensively and defensively.
Sure.
So it's training those high frequency events, and how can you train them, and what they actually are, and all the analytics and whatnot that they have today. That's, it's easier and easier to find.
Sure. Well, we're going to make a little bit of a shift here a little bit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this until you had mentioned it to me about DS3.
Yeah.
What does the 3 stand for in DS3?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. So, numbers are a big thing in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always number 5. I love number 5, and then I got down to play professionally. 5 was taken, so I took 55. Then I got traded to Youngstown, and I was they gave me number 3, and I was like, oh, that kind of stinks. So then and then I went down to Mississippi, and I won number 32 because that was my coach that I mentioned, Kevin Killer Kaminsky, his number when he was playing in the NHL.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, we don't have number 32. So I was like, well, just give me 3 and I'll wear it. And then, when we get 32 in, I'll switch. And that was the year that I'd met my wife and got engaged. So we were doing our marriage preparation that season.
Okay.
Down in Mississippi in Memphis. And we were doing it with a priest down there. His name was Father Ben, and great guy. And he came to watch us, and he said, hey, you're number 3. And I said, yeah. And he's like, that's the number of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So, and the number 32 jersey came in, and they're like, here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep number 3. So I kind of I did keep number 3 the rest of my career. And so when we were trying to figure out a name for the hockey company, like we were racking our brain of what we should do. And, I don't even know how the DS3 came about. And I was like, yeah, let's put the 3 in there. It'll show something about hockey and my faith. And so the 3 comes from, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That's awesome. In your hockey career, did you have any spiritual influences from coaches or other teammates?
Yeah, so when I was playing in Allen, it wasn't an easy time for me because it wasn't a great season for me, but there was a guy, his name was Landon Wilson.
Okay.
And Landon he played for UND back in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
And he was a guy that would come into the locker room, and he just finished his career. He was helping us. He was helping coach, and he would come to the locker room. And I can remember him coming into the locker room, just the best guy, shaking everyone's hand. And he would leave, and guys would say, like, "That's the guy I want to be." And go to find out, I can remember him having a cross on his glove.
Okay.
And then we started talking about our faith, and he was just a very big influence on me to want to share my faith more.
Sure.
And so he was someone big for sure.
Now, I remember in us talking in the past too that you have a Bible that somebody gave you.
Yeah.
From a hockey ministries.
That's right. Yeah. So when I was in Mississippi, we what is the name of the organization now? Hockey Ministries.
I think it was Hockey Ministries.
Yeah, it's Hockey Ministries. Yeah, so he had given a nice Bible with like a skate and with my name on it and I think a number. So
that's really neat.
Yeah.
That's I started doing FCA huddles with our girls team this last year.
Yeah.
And we had a tiny little Bible, the New Testament.
Yeah.
And it had like coaches and different players in there, and it gave like their verses. Their like verses per se, or ones that really stuck out to them through their playing career and stuff, and kind of gave a little bio. And so that was always that's neat for me to see, like, okay, these guys are real, and then, but also, being an influence of the girls, and not really even knowing it, but just by the girls going, oh man, he's an enforcer on the ice, probably beating guys day in and day out, but he has a background in knowing or having a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know if you recognize the name, but Stu Grimson's. He was a big NHL guy, the Grim Reaper, they would call him. And he was a big, tough guy, and he was a big Christian.
Okay.
Like this, guys like that, like they, to a lot of the fighters were actually, Christian guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's things in the Bible where it talks about standing up for people and being a protector and stuff like that. So, do you have a favorite verse that you lean on daily, or do you have like a life verse? Like for me, it's Psalms 46:10. People are like, well, that seems pretty easy, but it's just, be patient.
Yeah.
And because that was like a huge thing for me. I always want things really right now. And until I had some events happen in my life, that was like the Lord going, well, now you're going to learn patience.
Yeah.
And so I lean on that daily when I find myself struggling, like, why is my kid not getting from the couch to the car so we can go to practice. So I just like, okay, patience.
Yeah.
You know? So do you have something that you'd like to share or anything like that?
Yeah. I like Matthew 6:25-34. Do you mind if I
Go ahead,
read it?
please.
Yeah. Yeah. So this verse, when I first started getting into my faith more, popped out, and it's just like it's about worrying, and I can still be a little bit of a worrywart, but giving everything to God.
Yeah.
And that's it's not always easy.
No.
It's really not easy, but I'll read this.
Sure.
So it's Matthew 6:25 verse 25-34. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds in the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? And why do you worry about your clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Therefore do not worry, saying, what will we eat, and what will we drink, or what will we wear? For it is the Gentiles who will strive for all these things, and indeed your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But strive first for the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. And I think that verse is, I think it's so related to hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the next shift mentality. You go out and you make a mistake. Are you going to sit there? Are you going to worry about it? Are you going to just focus on it so much? Like, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough time. Hockey's just too fast.
Right.
It's too fast. You gotta reset that, and you gotta have your eyes on the task.
Right.
What are your eyes on the task? It's not what just happened. It's what you're gonna do next.
Yes.
So like that verse, it's much more about hockey. And I mean, when I was a kid, I think I would think like heaven is, I'm gonna be going up. I'm gonna play for the Montreal Canadiens. Like that's my heaven. Sure. And like I'm watching the playoffs and the Montreal Canadiens to be there. Like I still dream about that.
Sure.
I really, really do. And to be a player and to be a part of that atmosphere and be in the NHL, like that would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've grown older and as I've gotten deeper into my faith, like I know, like as good as that would be to be in the NHL and be a part of that,
mm-hmm.
It's nothing compared to what's waiting for us in heaven.
Right.
And like we can't grasp that as humans. I don't think we can grasp how good it's going to be.
Right.
And how good our Lord is going to be when we see him.
Right.
So it's that's like, it's unimaginable to me.
Yes.
It really is. And that's what is so exciting, because I love hockey so much. But there's something bigger waiting for us.
Right. And you were talking about that reset, and I, being a goalie dad, watching my daughter being able to reset after a goal gets scored on her, and how she can most of the time come back and be stronger and be more active in the net, more wanting to make, like, I'm not going to let another one in.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's many things that break down throughout a game that allows another one to go, but she's able to make that reset.
Yeah.
And we have to do that. And we, so many times we let things just bear us down. And I think it's just as simple of, Lord, take this from me.
Yeah.
And
just having like his mercy, accepting that.
Definitely.
And it's an acceptance that, especially as men, it's not easy to accept that help.
Oh, definitely not.
We want to take care of everyone, and it's just in our genes to want to do that.
Yeah.
But accepting his mercy is, it's a gift.
I refer to that verse a lot when I'm talking to my wife. When I have these visions,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, it would be really great. And she's like, Tim, hold on. She's pulling the reins back in there. And I'll be like, do the fish of the sea and the birds of the air wonder where they're going to sleep? And she's like, no, but we don't have a money tree right now.
Yeah.
So she always has to reel me in and hummels me that way.
Yeah.
But that verse just sticks out so much to me about
Yeah.
how we just have to let that, give it over to the Lord. And I oftentimes give it to him. But that's where the patience thing comes in.
Yeah.
Because I'm up there reaching for it, trying to break it. Okay, you're taking too long. I want
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's where Psalms 46:10 really comes into
Yeah.
my life. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I just need to wait. It's on His time. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. No, thank you.
And just a few more questions, kind of some fun questions.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to put you on the spot with a dad joke. Do you have a favorite dad joke that you want to share with us?
I'm not good at jokes.
Not good at jokes.
I don't. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So that's
Yeah.
for those of you new to the broadcast and those who aren't that know me, I always throw a couple dad jokes into my
best.
broadcast.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching this and you've heard this, I apologize, but we got 2 dogs the other day, and
Okay.
their names are Timex and Rolex. They're watchdogs.
That is great.
And this
See,
one,
I got to get better at that. Yeah.
and this one kind of comes back from my pre-Christian days, but I found out that when I would drink alcohol, that it took me 5 minutes to get from my house to the bar, but it would take me 45 minutes to get from the bar to the house. The difference was staggering. I might edit that one out. So we don't
that
have
is
to put that one
great.
in there.
Yeah.
So real quickly, what's your
Yeah.
favorite NHL team? I think we covered this, but we'll just get some clarification on it.
Yeah. Montreal. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Montreal. They got a big game tonight.
Big game, and I've been
Yeah.
crossing your fingers. Do you have like the kids and everything all dressed up, ready to go now, pre-gaming it?
No, we don't do that. But we're watching out here with the nice weather and
Oh, that would.
yeah, and when they play at the Bell Center, they're not playing at the Bell Center tonight, but it's when they play at the Bell Center, it's like an alumni will come out with the torch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that,
Yes.
and they touch the ice, and the whole ice and stands like lights up, and it's like, oh man.
That's the largest rink in the NHL, right?
Yeah.
It's 22,000 seats.
I think are close to it.
That is a crazy. When they pan and they watch the crowd and they're
Yeah.
all wearing red,
And it's just wild.
that would be loud.
Yeah. And they're just like, it's a passionate fan base.
Yes.
The most in the league by quite a long shot.
Who do you have for a favorite NHL player?
Current or our former or
We can
all
do
time?
present or past.
Past, Scott Stevens was my favorite
Okay.
the NHL player. So he was the New Jersey Devils goal. He played for St. Louis as well.
Sure.
But he was a New Jersey Devils captain.
Okay.
And he was just like, I wanted to play like him. Like he was
Yeah.
mean. He was clean though. Like he would throw some big hits.
Yeah.
And he was just an amazing leader. So that's someone I tried to be like.
I know a lot of people like our age and stuff. Oh yeah, Wayne Gretzky or this or that. But for whatever reason, my favorite player back in the day was kind of like Paul Kariya. He was
Yeah.
an underrated player.
Yeah,
And
he was great.
That was probably one of my favorites there.
Yeah.
Now this is kind of a different question, but home or away jerseys, which one did you like better? Because a lot of guys like, hey, do you have Sty?
Yeah.
And those, which ones did you like better?
Well, I forget. So like when I was playing,
Yeah.
we wore the whites as homes. Yeah, we wore whites as homes.
Yeah.
And then so I always remember it was even in the BCHL, we would kind of like halfway through the year like switch it up and wear our darks at homes.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember wearing I like darks.
Did you like the
Yeah.
design better on one or the other?
No, it's just you get your color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you get your color, and maybe that's why they flopped in the NHL, because that was, I don't want to say recent now, maybe within the past 10, 15 years, NHL used to be white
Yep.
on home.
Right.
Yeah.
The now that we know that Carolina's playing Montreal tonight,
hmm
what's the series at?
It's 3-1 Carolina. Yeah.
3-1 Carolina.
Yeah.
So they got to bounce back. Will they go back to Montreal then, or will they stay?
I gotta have faith in them. Yeah. It's tough though, because Montreal, they played 2 7-game series.
Yes,
And it's
yeah.
like they played like the way the NHL is set up. There's a big debate right now on how the playoffs should be structured. Like Montreal played Tampa, who had 106 points, and then they played Buffalo at 110 points. Like 2 very good teams. They went 7 games. And,
Yep.
and then Carolina had a little bit of they played Ottawa and Philadelphia, so they had a lot of rest.
Sure.
Yeah, but Carolina's a super good team, and I really like Rod Brindamore.
Okay. Yeah, you see Brindamore in there, and like Chelios and stuff, and those guys coach, and it's like, man, grew up watching these guys, and now they're at the helm. And
Brindamore's a Christian guy, too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
which
really
is very neat. So he's with FCA.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And then, obviously, if Montreal makes it to the final game, you're going to want them to win.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Golden Knights, but a little disappointed in Colorado.
Yeah.
To go out and 4 like that. But do you think Makar made that much of a difference being out of the lineup?
Yeah. He's and he was injured, and then McKinnon got injured, and I think that's just you go through the playoffs and you get a couple injuries like that, and if you're not healthy, that can really set you back. Yeah. And like Cale Makar, like you asked about my favorite player, like Current, he would be up there for sure.
He's a phenomenal skater, too.
Such a phenomenal skater. And he's really changed the way that coaches have taught edge work. Like when he came into the league, like that upper and lower body separation, he can do that so well. Mm-hmm. And deception, like with his toes, like manipulating at defenders with his toes. Mm-hmm. So he's one of the guys that really changed. Him and Quinn Hughes.
Oh, Quinn Hughes is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Watching him through the playoffs here, he had a lot of playing time on the ice. I mean, I was wondering if he was part robot.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, his energy level and the intensity that he plays with.
Yeah, and there's,
and he puts the game on his shoulders. That's huge.
It is. And there's another guy with Montreal, Lane Hudson. Mm-hmm. He's one of my favorite players too, and he is just like, he looks like he's 15 years old. First off, it's unbelievable.
I know. I look at Caulfield and I'm like, how old are you? You got to be 18.
It's unbelievable that the Lane Hudson, like he gets hit and he'll kind of like sometimes crunch over and he's like hobbling to the bench. Then he's out there and it's just like he never stops, that guy, and his edge work's just phenomenal as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. The edge work, creating even like crossovers in the neutral zone, how much quicker you can get by a person like that. And even I've noticed with the Mohawks and different things like that, just the speed that some of these guys generate from that stuff. So, if you guys ever want anything to do with edge work, hockey IQ, individual skills, David here is your man. Check him out, DS3 Hockey Development on Instagram and Facebook. And we look forward to meeting up with you again here in a couple years or so and see how things are going. I wish you the best with what's going on there and the growth that you have.
Thank you.
The community supports you, and it's really awesome to see. So,
no, thank you very much for doing this. And this Bismarck's just such a good town. So many good people. Such a good hockey community. It's mind blowing. And I've been around. I've lived all over the United States and in Canada as well, and I haven't seen a community like Bismarck before.
Before we end this conversation, I think we owe a huge thank you to your family.
Yeah.
Being the time and time that you put in on the ice, the time that you're able to do your researching and your studying here and stuff like that. I want to give them a shout out because that's a huge sacrifice on not only your end, missing a lot of family things, but on their end as well.
That's right.
And
they've
been very supportive of that.
Yeah. At the coaching conference, the Minneapolis or the St. Paul one that I went to, a coach Troy Ward is his name. He stood up and he was like, first off, thank your spouse for being here.
Sure.
And it's like no good coach doesn't have a good spouse. And it's like, that's true. Like my wife, like she's incredible. She does our website. She does a lot of the social media stuff, and she encourages me to, do as much as I can. And that's not always the case. So it's, without a good, support system, you're probably not going to be able to get far into coaching.
Right. Having a good wife and the good Lord behind you on that. I don't see why you wouldn't be successful.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
DS3 Hockey Development. We will let you guys go beyond your day.